Guys, ammunition for this video has been provided by Browne Works Inc., manufacturer of fine custom handgun grips. If you guys are looking for very unique, very customized handgun grips for your favorite handgun, contact Mark at Browne Works Inc., link in the description below, and create something beautiful for your favorite handgun. And don't forget to tell them Wyoming Gun Project sent you. What's going on, everybody? This is Matt from the Wyoming Gun Project. Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to take a look at a Century Arms BFT 5.56 AK. And if you haven't guessed by the thumbnail and the title, this is an AK chambered in 5.56. As you can see, we do have some ammo in the factory supplied magazine. It does come with this. I think this is made by AC Unity magazine here. We're going to set this aside because I don't like to have ammo when I'm doing the tabletops. However, I am going to take this out to the range portion as soon as I'm done filming the tabletop, and we're going to bust its cherry. This gun has not been fired. This is an unfired gun. So we're going to see the first rounds today. So let me set this magazine aside after we take a look at that. So I know you're screaming, going, what the heck type of red monstrosity is that? Yeah, this furniture on this thing is, I think it's the standout piece of this rifle. It is very loud. I make a joke about this rifle. This is if Pepto Bismol made an AK rifle. I think what they did was, I think what Century Arms was going for was kind of that Russian red look. But they took very nice, it's my understanding that this is maple, okay, which is that light color. And they probably should have just left it natural maple and clear coated it. But this is maple. They hit it with a red stain. And I think the red came out a little lighter than they were probably hoping for. Maybe not, maybe I'm wrong. If somebody knows, if somebody works for Century and they see this and they know maybe that's the look they were going for, makes for a very loud rifle. I dig, the thing is I dig AKs with that Russian red look on them. I have a Palmetto, a PSA AK-74 that has a triangle folder, but the Russian red color stock on the front, and they got it pretty darn close. This is a little too light, I think, and bright. I don't know what I'm gonna do with it. I might sand it down and take I might just leave it because I do like weird, you know, out of pocket stuff that's not kind of normal, that makes other people go, ew. So, and I even kind of go, ew, but it still intrigued me enough to buy it. The wood grain on this wood is very nice though. I just think they probably should have gone with a deeper color stain. But let's get into the rifle. This is a all-American made. If you're not familiar with Century Arms, they don't have the best reputation, although I think they're coming up in the game, and we really don't have a lot of US-made AKs at an affordable price. I know these were going, some people, I've seen a few videos on these online, and some people were saying they were hovering right around 1,000. I want to say I got this, I don't know, high 7s, low 8s. So it wasn't too bad. This does have a 1.5 millimeter bulge trunnion receiver, as you can see, a la akin to like the Yugo AKs coming out of Serbia. As you can see, it does say BFT, which is for bulged, for front trunnion or forged trunnion. I don't remember. Bulged forged trunnion. That's what it is. Forged, I believe. Bulged forged trunnion. So the trunnion is, the front trunnion is forged. The receiver is stamped. Again, 1.5 millimeter. Standard stamped AKs are 1 millimeter. So it is a heavier, thicker receiver. You have the whale tail mag release there. This one does have an AK-74 style muzzle brake, although this is threaded, I think 14-1 left-hand threads or whatever it is. It's not like big collar like the AK-74s have. So you can screw on like standard, not standard US half by 28, but you can screw on different muzzle devices that are just, you know, standard barrel thread. There's no big collar up here like on the 74s. I believe that's a cast front sight. You have your bayonet lug. You have your cleaning rod cast. As you can see, there's the, let me get it closer. There's the casting mark for the 90-degree gas block. The vent holes are in the gas tube. Cast rear sight trunnion with the standard AK takedown lever. You have a US palm grip. I do like that. This is by far my favorite AK grip. However, I don't just switch them out on all of them because I do really dig the popsicle grip. I think it looks cool. It's got that old school AK vibe, and it doesn't bother me at all. But this is, I will admit, this is a superior grip. Kind of a tactical safety there. The safety is very stiff. I will adjust that after the range portion, the live fire portion. Get that adjusted out. Let's take a look at the rivets. I don't think the rivets look too bad. I don't see any high rivets or cockeyed rivets right there. And that is one of the biggest complaints about the American AKs, is that their riveting sucks. But I don't see, let's get on this side. I don't see any rivets that are really out of pocket or anything. So here is a look at the crazy Pepto-Bismol buttstock. Let's just take it apart and look inside. Let me get it off camera here for a second and charge it so I'm not fumbling around. It is really like gritty and dry. So as soon as we're done with the tabletop here, I'm going to oil it again. Let me reiterate. This has not had any ammunition put through it by me. It probably had test firing at the factory, but other than that, it was purchased brand new and it has not been fired. So you got your Century, kind of your standard Century cast. Let me see if we can, we can, I haven't even taken this apart. So we're having a little bit of trouble taking this sucker apart here. Why is that? Oh, there we go. Probably because I don't know what I'm doing. I know a little bit about what I'm doing, but I got a few AKs. By the way, check my playlist down on my channel. I keep adding AKs there as I get them. This is not... So, I have heard and seen things about this rifle with this lightweight cutout carrier, that they are weak points here and some of them will break. We'll see. I don't imagine it will break within the first. I'll probably go out and fire a couple hundred rounds and it shouldn't be an issue. Here is our bolt. It does have the small tail. It looks like this is probably, I don't know, some type of hardened steel or whatever. But something I just noticed that kind of concerns me a little bit is, look at that tail. Again, look at it. There's no, you can see all the, you know, machining marks and stuff. There have been no rounds, and let me just reiterate that, show you in here. Unless it was test fired, which I'm sure they did test fire it at the factory, you don't see any brass shavings, brass marks, any of that type of stuff, right, on this rifle. But I just noticed this taking it apart, and maybe the eagle eye folks will notice it too. What is that? Let me see if I can get it to, what is that? Why is the tail on this carrier already peened over? How many rounds did they test fire out of this gun? And if it's any more than like 10, did they fire one magazine and it's already starting to peen? I mean, look, look at that. There's a hook. I can catch my nail on it right there. Look at that. And I just cut my nails, so I don't, that's insane. That does not bode well. That is not a good sign. But we're going to take it out. We're going to shoot it anyway. Like I said, I'm going to go up from here. As you can see, this is perfectly clean. Again, this is like a phosphate or a parkerized kind of finish on here. I also wanted to point one other thing out before we take it out. I'm going to go, by the way, like I said before, I'm going to go oil this up and run a patch down the bore, and then we'll get out and shoot it. Some of the other channels I watched on this gun, I think have pointed this out, but what's missing here? Look at this area right here, all in here, because AKs will put them in, AK manufacturers will put them in different spots. All this area right there, what's missing? Yeah, a sling loop. There's no sling swivel. There's no, some of them will have them made into the gas block. Some of them will have clipped on back here. Some of them will go through here. Some of them will have them right here on this lower handguard thing. There's nothing. Where am I going to hang a sling at on this sucker? Come on, Century. What you didn't bother to get the, or the handguard one right? Come on, man. So it is missing a sling swivel right there, which that's crazy work. Like, how do you, like, oh, anyway. So tell you what, guys, let's put this sucker back together. I'm going to go ahead and we're going to stop the video here, the tabletop. We're going to go out to the range and we're going to shoot it for the live fire portion. But I am going to go in, throw some oil in the sucker, run a patch down the bore, and we'll get it out and shoot it. So let's go out to the range and just see how it shoots. Live fire portion of this review. We have our Century Arms BFT 5.56. We have the factory AC Unity mag that it came with. We have 55 grain 223 or 5.56. I think it's 5.56. It was graciously provided by Mark at Browne Works, Inc. Custom grip maker. Makes beautiful stuff, man. You got a custom project you need for handguns, but he also does stuff for AR-15s. Check out the link below and in the pinned comment at the top. These are, as discussed in the tabletop, this has not been fired, so these will be the very first rounds out of this gun. And it hasn't been sighted in or none of that. Now, I've had people go, why you shoot an unsighted in gun? Why don't you sight it in first? I want to catch the very first rounds out of most guns that I get brand new. I want to catch the first rounds on camera. It's just a function check of the gun. Typically, it's been my experience, if you have a catastrophic issue with the gun, it creeps up in the very first magazine. And we want to see if it functions properly. I will film this little segment of the function test. Then off camera, I'll take a couple of minutes. I will sight it in, and then we'll come back and we'll finish the review. I have 4 magazines out here today. Again, a little bit of an explanation on 5.56 AKs if you're not aware. I love 5.56 AKs, but there's no standard for them. So your American 5.56 AKs will be dimensionally, especially in the magwell area, it might be a little bit different than the Polish ones, than the Bulgarian ones, then the whatever. All these different manufacturers from different countries have slightly different specs and not all the mags will work. So you want to check your mags first. We have the very cheap $8 Pro Mag, which function flawlessly in the Arsenal SAM 5. We have another AC Unity mag, and we have a PSA 5.56 mag. So we're going to be switching between these mags, see which ones it likes, it does not like. Let me put my hearing protection on. And we'll just get these first shots out of this AK and see if it works, man. All right, so far so good. Made it through the first mag. I was able to sight it in. It really only took me about 6 rounds, 2 3-shot groups, and she was sighted in. We now are going to try the $8 Pro Mag. Let's see if it works. I know Oh, shit. Look at that. Look at that. Sheared the tab right off. This is the problem. Did you see that? Because I was trying to get it in because the 30th round, look how much play is with the 30th round. So if you have one of these, make it only put 29 rounds in, because this, yeah. But look at that. That's what happens when you don't have steel reinforced lips. It just ripped the front one right off. So we can't use that one. That one's shit. Let me get another one. All right, we're gonna try the PSA. I'll have to put that ammunition in a different mag. There we go, goes right in. All right. Let's see if this sucker works, man. All right, it's gotten to the point now where it's so hot out here and the gun is super hot. I had to get my glove out. This is kind of toasty too. I might need 2 gloves. But we still have the PSA mag in. Let's just finish the PSA mag and see how it goes. All right, folks. So the 4th and final mag we're going to test today is this AC Unity mag. Got it loaded up with ammo. That's not the one it came with. It came with this one with this little chopped off heel piece. I think that's so when you're laying prone, you can rest it on the ground easier. But we're just going to see how this one works. Let me make sure. Yep. Ammo is in it. Let's just see how it shoots, man. Holy shit balls, folks. Look what I found. A case of Browne. Yeah, Browne ammunition made in Russia. It has not been opened. Steel case 223, man. We're going to shoot that stuff up. See how it shoots in this rifle. Let me load this up and I'll be right back. Okay, folks, we got our 20 rounds of Browne. And as you can see, this is that old lacquer case stuff. We're just going to see how well it works in this rifle. All right, let's go. You can roll with that stuff, bro. I don't know if you guys know, but the steel Russian case 223 stuff, it's flat shooting as hell. I don't think it has as much pressure as like the American stuff, and it definitely doesn't as much 5.56, but holy crap, you can roll with that stuff. That stuff's fantastic. I wish we could still get that stuff, man. So let's go and get the final thoughts. Okay, folks, final thoughts on the Century Arms BFT 5.56 in this crazy red color. I actually think it's pretty good, man. So actually, I shouldn't call this the final thoughts. This is like initial thoughts, because I think we only put about 200 rounds through it. So we had 120 rounds of the Winchester red and white box, 5.56. We had a 20 rounds of that Barnaul that you saw me shoot, that lacquer case stuff. And then we had another 60 rounds of the Norma practice and train, or train, whatever it was, that we put through it. So initial 200 rounds, I think this thing is actually pretty darn good. It shoots flat as hell. We're going to get in there, and I'm going to probably get this up to 500 rounds before we do a after action report on the insides. I can already tell you, looking at it in here, I doubt the camera will pick it up, so I won't even try to show you. The tail is peening only after only 200 rounds. I think fit, finish, all kinds of other stuff is not bad at all, man. The crazy red color furniture, that's an acquired taste, but you can replace the furniture. Also, I don't know what the heck they were thinking with no sling swivel up front. What was that about? Everything worked great except for, as you saw, the Pro Mag, which is crazy because this thing rolled in a Arsenal Sam 5. It worked perfect. If I had to guess, I would say this thing would probably work except the front tore out. Now, I think they have like a lifetime warranty. I'm going to hit Pro Mag up and maybe send them this part of the video where it tore off and see if they'll replace it, man. We'll see, and I'll let you know. Maybe I'll do a short on it or something. But yeah, as you could see, something crazy here. This is kind of weird. But as you can see, it's getting all the brass stuff. That's normal for an AK. But look right there on the charging handle. That's getting a lot of brass on the top there. Almost like the casings are hitting that or something. And it's not from rubbing on the dust cover. It's clearly like brass marks like it is back here. But as you saw, first 200 rounds ran flawlessly. No malfunctions. Everything worked pretty good, man. So there it is, guys. Stay tuned for the follow-ups on this rifle and all my AKs. I'll do periodically. I do 500,000 round updates and stuff like that. So far, this one's 200 rounds in, working flawlessly. I question the choice of furniture color and why they didn't put a front sling swivel. But other than that, man, I think this thing so far is doing really well. So there it is, guys. Thanks for watching, and we will see you next time.